You clicked on this one because you want to raise some capital. I get it. It's super sexy. It's attractive. It's what you think is going to solve all your problems. In some cases, it can. And in other cases, it can be your worst nightmare. So I'm here to help you navigate this crazy landscape of investment, whether it be angel or VC capital, as somebody who has lived it and came out the other side with a lot more gray hair and scar tissue than I hope for you. You see, I built a platform over a 13-year period. We raised seed money, angel money, then VC money. We got acquired 2 different times, built it into the #1 application in its category, the #1 coaching app in the world across 80 sports, 140 countries, and I exited last year. Since doing so, I have been hit up nonstop by founders looking to raise money and essentially replicate the path that I did. They just don't know all the inside stuff and how hard it was, and that's why I want to help you better understand what you're about to embark on if you want to raise capital. So number 1, first thing you got to know is if you're actually ready to raise the money. Far too often, most companies aren't even ready to do it because they're using capital as permission instead of acceleration. An investor these days, especially in the world of AI, vibe-coded apps, is not going to want to fund ideas. They don't want to fund your ability to leave your day job and go build something. You need to build, you need to get customers, and more importantly, you need these paying customers to come on board so that an investor looks at the opportunity and says, yep, I understand your engine. I want to accelerate it. Let's go. So then number 2 is revenue, as I just said, is the ultimate power dynamic flipper. You see, you have no idea how intimidating it is to walk into one of these rooms, especially with a venture capital firm, if you don't have something that's actively working. You want to flip that dynamic because the person with the money is the one who is in control. So if you walk in pre-revenue, kind of hat in hand on your heels, in front of somebody that is running this firm who's actually never really built a business in most cases, you're on the back foot. But if you're already making money, the whole conversation changes. Now it's their check to fuel that fire that's already burning, not essentially keep your raft afloat. Because of that, I can't encourage you enough to validate the idea by turning on the money button as soon as possible. It's something I talk a bunch about all the time, but I got to say it more because too many of you still aren't doing it. Even if it's a pre-sale, collect those dollars so that you can start understanding if this is worth something. Better yet, have a product in the wild that has some recurring revenue so you can start to forecast what this business is really going to look like, because that'll make every conversation you have with a potential investor come from a place of strength instead of weakness. Number 3 here is finding the right capital teammates. And I choose the word teammates very much on purpose because these are folks who are going to be with you from start to finish. I've been at this over 14 years and I've even exited now, and I still have early investors texting me wondering what's going on with the way that the company is being run now that I'm no longer a part of it. Because these are teammates, I want to help you better understand the way that you're going to pick the right ones. And the core of that, first and foremost, above all else, is picking good people. It's easy to get sucked into, oh, if anybody will write me a check, I'll take it. But I can't caution you against this enough. Because these are teammates, these are people that you're going to interact with for potentially years, in my case, 14 or 15 years, you want to choose good people. You don't want to be dodging their calls or dodging their emails because you're afraid of what they might say, or they just rub you the wrong way and you don't get along. This is a teammate for the long haul. So they got to be a good person first. When I introduce founders to my growing investor network, that is the first caveat for me. Anybody in my sphere has to be a good person because I'm very protective of the founders I work with. I don't want any sour relationships being kicked off. The second part of choosing the right person here is strategic. You want to make sure they're as strategic as possible for your specific industry so that the education gap isn't so big. I can't tell you how many conversations I had with investors, hundreds of them over the years. Not only did I have to educate them about our product, that's the obvious one, but I also had to educate them about the problem, the solution, and literally the industry. And in doing so, this can drag things out to the ends of the earth, 6 months, 12 months before you get a yes or a no. If we go back to the beginning, a good person won't stretch out the no's. That's really crucial in any fundraising exercise. And again, if they're strategic, you don't have to educate them about everything, which gets you to a yes or a no faster, which is also super important. The last one here is the right check size. Again, it can be really exciting to meet with investors of all different shapes and sizes, and you hear these fancy names, you get into the room with them, they say, this is cool. only to say, hey, check back with us 3 years from now when you hit XYZ milestones, because we only write checks that are 20 million or above. I can't say this enough. Do not take those meetings. They're just kicking the tires and they're trying to build their pipeline. It is a waste of time for both of you. Make sure that as you're doing your due diligence on the right investor for you, they write the appropriate check size with where your business is today. And the last little piece I'd put there too is that make sure they've invested in something that looks like what you've built before. Not identical, of course, but if you're building a hardware product, I have seen today that it's incredibly hard for a SaaS investor, a software investor, to make that hardware investment for the first time or maybe the fifth time because they've been burned. Try to find investors that have built or invested in things that look like yours. So let's recap that really quickly because I think it's important. Good people, strategic, and the right check size. Don't get caught up in all the rest of the noise and the excitement or the kind of the sexy vibes that you might be feeling. It's imperative that you take control over this fundraising process and not get sucked into this endless vacuum of nonsense. With all that said, let's close this out and make sure that you are being honest with your position. This is not about permission, it's about accelerant. And do you even have something worth accelerating? If you don't have paying customers or pre-sales, go back to the drawing board, shake things up. Make sure you fully understand the business that you're getting into, because once you start asking for capital, you now have a lifelong teammate that is on this ride with you. And if your business isn't worth investing in, that's a problem for everybody. And if the investor isn't the right person for your team, it's bad news all around. But if you get it right, if you get the product, you get the revenue, and you get the right investment teammate, life is good. You're no longer building a lifeline, you're building a real business. Real quick before we go though, if you are building in the business of lower scores, in other words, game improvement inside of the world of golf or athlete performance tech, this is the channel absolutely for you. So if you got questions, comments, drop them below, shoot us a DM. It's simple. We want to help you build your business better and faster than we did. And finally, if you are in that golf niche, those are the folks that I really want to dive into with and help them grow in golf and outside of golf. Head over to scale.golf, join our newsletter. We've got a lot of programs launching. That is going to be the best way for us to stay in touch and make sure you get everything that you need to blow that business up. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.